Hey everyone, today we're diving into a beautiful story from the Bible that reminds us of one of the most important lessons in life. God's timing is perfect. We're talking about the story of Sarah and Isaac, a story of waiting, faith, and the fulfillment of God's promise. Abraham and Sarah had received an incredible promise from God. God told Abraham that he would be the father of many nations and that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky. But there was one big problem. Sarah was barren, and both she and Abraham were very old. How could they possibly have children? Years went by and still no child. Sarah started to doubt. She couldn't understand how God's promise could ever come true when everything in her life seemed to say it was impossible. So, like many of us do when we feel like we've waited too long, Sarah decided to take matters into her own hands. She gave her servant Hagar to Abraham, and Hagar gave birth to a son, Ishmael. But this wasn't the fulfillment of God's promise. Despite Sarah and Abraham's doubts, God remained faithful. He appeared to Abraham again and reminded him that his promise still stood. Sarah would have a son, and they would name him Isaac. In fact, when Sarah overheard this promise, she laughed. How could she at 90 years old bear a child? But guess what? At exactly the right time, Sarah did give birth to a son. His name was Isaac, which means a laughter, because God had turned Sarah's doubt into joy. The promise that once seemed impossible was fulfilled, not in Sarah's timing, but in God's perfect timing. This story reminds us that God's timing is always perfect, even when it feels like we're waiting forever. Sarah's long wait wasn't wasted. God was working even in the silence, preparing her for the joy that was to come. The same is true for us. We might not always understand why God's timing seems different from ours, but we can trust that He is always working for our good. Maybe you're in a season of waiting right now. You've prayed, you've hoped, and you're wondering when God will answer. Don't lose heart. Just like He did for Sarah, God is faithful. His promises never fail, and His timing is always right, even when we don't see it yet. Thank you for joining me today. If this story encouraged you, remember to check out Next Level Life Shop. The link is in the bio. They have awesome resources to help keep you inspired as you trust in God's perfect timing. And don't forget to like and follow for more uplifting stories. And please tell all your friends and relatives and perhaps your dog, if you have one, about Next Level Daily Inspiration.